Getting ready to go on yet another road trip. I got back from our long 7,250 mile road trip just a few days ago. It's Sunday right now, so I got home on Thursday, or was it like 3 a.m. on Wednesday? Yeah, so 3 a.m. Thursday, and today is Sunday. I'm headed to Giga Austin, which is about 1,100 miles from here, but as you cannot see because it's so dark, I'm in the Model X. And this will be the first time we take a road trip in the Model X. I am by myself, so it seems a bit wasteful, but I am excited to see what road tripping in an X is all about. But let's take a look at this trip in front of us. So like I said, it's about 1,100 miles to make this trip. And if I take a look at the whole thing, we've got 6 charging stops to get there. And these charging stops are about 35 minutes. So I will be splitting these up. I'm not going to wait 40 minutes at a charger unless something comes up and it just makes sense to do that. But usually that's too long to stay at a charger. This car charges super fast, so we should be able to make benefit of V3 charging. However, this first charging stop is only a V2 150 kilowatt charge rate in Lake City, Florida. Because of the state of charge I have right now, it doesn't make sense to go to one of the other ones because this one right here would be quite a bit short, so we wouldn't even gain anything from that. This one's a V2 and this one is a V3, but it's too far away. So we're going to have to go to Lake City and we will jump from there to another one. So the plan for tonight is to just get as far as I can for now. And I know it's late. It is 8:50 p.m., but it's about, I think, a 16 or 17 hour drive. So I want to get as far as I can tonight, so that way tomorrow I can be in Austin at a reasonable time at night and get good rest. And I have so much to do. I'm so behind on videos and everything. So I've just got to get my stuff together is what I got to do. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and take off. We have an hour and 55 minutes, 133 miles. It says we'll be there at 29%, and we are currently at 82. So we will see how those all stack out on the highway in a Model X. We made it to our first stop in Madison, Florida. It is a V3 in the middle of nowhere, but it is in the parking lot of a gas station, and it looks like an Arby's as well. But you can at least get facilities, which is what is important. This is a V3 charger, so that's great, but there's nobody here. So I'm going to get plugged in here in just a second. The idea for the rest of this trip, for tonight anyways, I'm trying to figure out how far I'm going to make it, because essentially until I get to Pensacola, there's no hotels outside of Tallahassee that have a charger in the parking lot. Unfortunately, Pensacola is very far away, so it's like 250 more miles to go, and it's already 11:20. I don't know if I can make that. Right now I feel fine, but I'm just not sure if I would be able to make that or not. So I think I've got to figure this out pretty quickly, because in 40 minutes it's going to be hard to book a hotel for tonight. So anyways, gonna get plugged in and figure this out. All right, so we're wrapping up charging here at 70%, and this thing is still getting 96 kilowatt at 70%. This thing's a charging beast. From 11 to 33%, we got 250 kilowatts, which is crazy charge rate. Gonna unplug here in just a minute. Should arrive at 13%. And we've got about 2 hours, 131 miles to go. Be there about 1:40 in the morning. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug now. so we arrived here at Chipley, Florida at 13%, yeah. And that last leg there was 132 miles, 54 kilowatt hours consumed, 406 watt hour per mile. And I forgot to pull this up last time. It was about 370 watt hour per mile on the first leg of this trip, but that's because it wasn't all completely on the highway at 80 miles an hour, which is what we're doing now. So anyways, this is a V3, and once again, I am by myself. So no issues there. Gonna get this thing plugged in. It does want us to make it all the way to Robertsdale, and to do that, we would only need to charge for 25 minutes. This is the first place right outside of Florida. So I'm gonna get plugged in. For starters, it is now 12:30 because time has gone back 1 hour. So it's actually 1:30 in the morning on my clock. So gonna go ahead and get plugged in and stretch the legs a little bit. We are wrapping up charging here. 1 minute left at 73%. It's gonna be done here any second. I actually went ahead and punched in one of those 2 hotels that has a charger because I didn't realize I'd have this much energy left. It's only an hour and a half away, 113 miles. And then it's another half hour from there to get to the supercharger. So if there is no charger available, the supercharger is still on the way, so not too bad. Gonna go ahead and get unplugged now at 74%. Should arrive at 23% at the hotel at about 2:24 in the morning. We are here in the parking lot. There's a charger over at the Hampton and then one here at Home 2 Suites. The Hampton Inn is being utilized, but there are 2 back here. And even though the screen does not work, it sounds like, dude, based on what PlugShare says, it works. So what I'm gonna do is get plugged in and check and see if they've got any rooms, which they should because it showed availability earlier. But that last little stretch there, that was 113 miles, 46 kilowatt hours, 407 watt hour per mile. So pretty hefty drinker this thing is. We did get here at 24%. Let's get this thing plugged in. Let's go inside and see if we can get a reasonable rate for a room tonight. So we're in business. I am plugged in. This thing's pulling 29 amps, which is really weird. So what I'm going to do, since there's 2 plugs, I'm going to switch it over and see if the other one will give me the full 32. If not, it's no big deal, but I don't think I've seen 29 amps before, so let's check it out. All right, let's see here. Connectors hit. Yeah, same thing, 29 amps. That's very interesting. Okay, well, we're gonna go with that. I'm gonna let this thing charge overnight and we'll be able to skip a charger because of that, which is great news. That'll save us some time. So I'm gonna grab my bags and go to bed, and I'll catch you first thing in the morning. So I had a really good night's sleep, got up this morning, got some work done, and it is now 10:10 in the morning. So gonna go ahead and hit the road. Let's take a look at what's in front of us. So we still have quite a few miles, about 680 or something, I think. 4 charging stops, it looks like, but this first one wants to stop for 50 minutes, which we won't be doing, but it is a V3, so we will be stopping there. So I'm gonna hit that up, and then we should be in Austin around 9:30 p.m. So we'll keep an eye on that to see how we're doing on time. Ended up getting 68% last night. So from, what was that? I don't know, 3 in the morning something to 10, 7 hours, 8 hours, something like that. So gonna go ahead and unplug, and we are going to hit the road. Should be an hour and a half, be there about 11:40, 104 miles, 26% arrival. made it here in Mississippi. Supposed to be here for 20 minutes to make it to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So gonna get this going here. That last leg, 104 miles, 37 kilowatt hours, 354 1 hour per mile. So pretty good start for everything. It is now 94 degrees. So at 94, things are going to start getting a little bit harder on the air conditioner. So gonna get this thing plugged in. There's plenty of stuff around here, including an Academy Sports if you're interested. Some food, Walmart over there, some food on the backside of Outback. Pretty decent spot, honestly. So gonna get plugged in and keep this rolling. All right, so we're wrapping up charging here at 70%. The next leg, about 2 hours, 137 miles, should be there just before 2 o'clock in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Gonna go ahead and unplug now and get this thing rolling. All right, so we made it here to Baton Rouge, and it is in the parking lot of what looks like a grocery store, a Taco Bell, there's a Subway, there's a gas station. Really good stuff around here, at least for options and variety. Pretty busy area. Supposed to be here for 15 minutes. We arrived at 18%, and that last leg was 137 miles, 49 kilowatt hours consumed, 355 watt hour per mile. And as you can see, we got a little bit of rain on this last bit, but supposed to be here for 15 minutes to make it to Iowa, Louisiana. And I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in now at this V3 charger here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Well, I got pretty wet. It started pouring before I could get back to the car, but we are charged up. So let's take a look. Charged up here at 60%. Should be able to make it to the next charger at 15%. And that is in Iowa, Louisiana. That is V3. Hour and 40 minutes, 115 miles. Gonna get moving now. So we're here in Iowa, Louisiana, in the middle of nowhere, just like Iowa, which is convenient. It's in the back of a gas station, a pretty decent one, but it's supposed to be here for 10 minutes. I added Beaumont, Texas, so it wanted us to be here for 35. So instead of doing that, we'll do 10 minutes here, 15 minutes at the next stop to get to Giga, Texas. So that is a much better plan, and we are still looking good, actually a little bit ahead of schedule. So I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in here. That last leg was 115 miles, 39 kilowatt hours consumed, 340 watt hour per mile. Gonna plug in now and get charging. So I kind of charged a little bit more than I meant to, 48%. I actually only needed like 6 minutes. So we'll be there at 19%, a little bit more than I would like, but an hour and 10 minutes, 80 miles, 5:07 at time of arrival. Let's see. So it's not showing me anymore. The last couple stops it stopped showing me what that was. Otherwise, I would definitely show you how much this trip cost. But with that, let's hit the road. We have arrived. We are making excellent time. Arrived at 17%. Gonna be here for 10 minutes, but it's in a little strip mall, I guess. But there's a Subway over there, which again, I'm not really a huge fan of, but on road trips, it makes for a pretty good meal. So I'm gonna get some Subway, which is never fast, but I'm just gonna get plugged in so that we can get this charging going. That last leg, 81 miles, 29 kilowatt hours, 354 watt hour per mile. So just as expected, charged more than I needed to because you gotta wait for food. Okay, so here's how you would deal with this. If you just edit trip and press done, it's gonna recalculate everything and hopefully choose a different charger, but in this case, it did not choose a different charger. Let's see why. Let's see. That one is not a good option. So what about this one? That one could be okay. Oh, nope, it's this one. There we go. So I'm gonna add this charger to the route, and it would want me to stop here. That's interesting. So let's remove charging stops and see how far away this is. 211 miles. It's quite a haul. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that as the destination. We're at 66%. This will give me just a little bit to eat my dinner, and I need to top off when I get to the Austin area anyways. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to eat a little bit and charge a little bit more. Right now it says we arrive at 3%, so I'll let it charge a little bit more while I eat my sandwich. All right, so we are wrapping up charging here. We're at 84%. I'm gonna let it go to 85. Then I'm gonna unplug. We should arrive about 10, 11% at 850. I'll see what I can do about making up time. It's never advised to just keep charging. Always quicker to unplug and hit the next charger sooner. So anyways, 211 miles, about 3 hours and 15 minutes it says. So we'll see what we can do. Not much I can do about Houston traffic. So fingers crossed it's not terrible, but you probably already know how this is gonna go. I'll catch you when we get to the next stop. Well, we ran into a bit of a problem. My bladder could not keep up with this trip, so I had to pull over. Unfortunately, it's the slow charger, so let me show you what we're looking at. This here is a 120 kilowatt charger, wherever it went. There we go. It's a 120, so unfortunately that's the case, but here's the stats from that little leg. 152 miles, 55 kilowatt hours consumed, 360 watt hour per mile. Could have made it just fine, but that's just how it's gonna have to be. So I'm gonna plug it in. It's in the back. It's like in a shady corner. It's like real creepy back here. Anyways, there is a gas station on the other side of the Mexican joint, and this is in a hotel parking lot, like way in the back here, and there's nobody here, and it looks abandoned because it probably is, because nobody's dumb enough to pull off the highway to plug into a 120. So we'll let this charge. All right, went ahead and topped off. We're at 45% now, so we should arrive at 25% in 50 more minutes, 59 miles. Gonna get there now, and I'm gonna pick this up when we get to the charger up here. All right, well, we are here at the last charging stop, and this one has no time limit. I'm just gonna charge up to maybe 80, 85%, something like that. But let's take a look at the trip, because even though I have 24 miles left, at least to get to Giga Austin, I am going to call this the end of the trip because I need to find a hotel, and that's where I'm going to head from here. So I haven't figured out where I'm staying yet, but I will figure that out while I'm sitting here at the Buc-ee's. Finally, a Buc-ee's stop on this trip. So this is the only one. But anyways, let's take a look how this trip went. So we arrived here at 17%, and it looks like a total of 1,079 miles, 402 kilowatt hours consumed, and 373 watt hour per mile. Now, what's really interesting is on a Model Y trip just like this, I would have probably consumed about 330 watt hour per mile. And that means that the consumption in this thing is probably about 15% more than the Y in real world anyways, at least at 80 miles an hour for most of it. Once we got into the 85 miles an hour, that's when it really started becoming a big hit. So over 400 watt hour per mile on 85 mile an hour stretches. So staying at that 80 miles per hour, I would say that the consumption on this is minimally more than the Model Y, at least when you consider the fact that it's a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack in this versus the 82 that's in the Y. So you more than make up for it with a larger pack, and this thing charges stupid fast. And the other thing I was going to say is this thing is so comfortable, and that's part of the problem with this car. It is so expensive, and really you have to ask yourself, is it worth 2 Model Ys? And that's really not the right question, because you can't say yes to that. I don't care how you break it down. This is it. 2 Model Ys, no. But the value proposition is not in price in this car. So if you have the disposable income to spend on this car, it is very nice to have. But I'm only driving this so that I can put together content to share the differences between the Y and the X for you guys, because I know, just like us, there's so many questions about, is it worth it? What's the differences? It just drives so nice. The air suspension, I've got it down to the second to lowest setting. It's still butter smooth, super quiet on the highway, and it's just a very comfortable car overall. Might as well be charging while we're talking, but I think that this car definitely rocks. I'm really happy with it, but it's still a lot of car. And I will say this, on the whole, the Model Y is still my favorite Tesla, and I will have plenty of videos explaining why that is in the future. But for a one-off road trip like this, 1,000 miles, whew, very nice. I don't think I had a single phantom braking issue. Now keep in mind, I have hardware 4.0 on this, which doesn't give me any additional functionality yet, but the cameras should be better. Although I continue to get this error message that the camera right here on the A-pillar is not working. So I don't know what that's all about. I got to get that checked out. But it has not had any impact on autopilot that I have noticed. So I wish I could share with you how much this total trip would have cost. And I was pretty hopeful there at the beginning that maybe it had come back where I could see how much each charging stop was, but it went away. So unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly how much this was. In a Model Y, 1,000 miles on the eastern half of the United States is used to be about $120 in electricity for supercharging. So somewhere around there. You can also take the kilowatt hours I consumed, multiply it by the average supercharging rate in your area. That'll give you kind of an idea on the route as well. So anyways, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this video. There will be another trip on the way back home, another 1,100 miles that I'm gonna have to drive back home. So I look forward to sharing that trip with you, and I will catch you on that one.